guys! Welcome to this channel Make That Change, where Anna and I share our experience and insights about career and life in Canada after immigration. In this video, we're going to talk about the very first interview you will take with any company you're applying for. This interview is important because it's a great chance for you to make a first impression and show your interviewer how amazing of a candidate you are. Such interview is called a pre-screening interview or simply a phone interview. So in this video, we're going to talk about what to expect, how to prepare for the phone interview, and also how to convert that interview into the next stage interview. And generally, there are essentially just 3 questions that you need to be able to answer well to be able to do well in this interview. And we're going to cover this later in the video. And before we begin, I'd like to thank you guys for all the questions and comments you're leaving under our videos. And I'd like to announce that we will be starting a new video series dedicated exclusively to job search. In this series of videos, we will share different strategies on how to approach your job search and how to ace your interviews. So if you're interested in that topic, leave a like and leave a comment below on what specifically you would like to learn about. And without any further ado, let's get started. So let's start with what to expect from a phone interview. Phone screen is the very first part of your interview process. In this process, the interviewer does an initial assessment of your fit for the role you're applying to. What happens in this stage is the hiring manager or the recruiter at the company goes through hundreds of resumes that have applied for the job, and they select 20 or 30 resumes that seem to be fitting to the job requirements the best. They look at your CV and they compare to the job requirements of the job posting. That is why it is extremely important to make sure that your CV is very easy to read and contains all the information that's relevant for the role that you're applying for. In our previous video, we covered the topic of how to build your resume, and we stressed the importance of tailoring your resume to the job that you're applying for. Having that in place is critical for your resume to move from the general applicant pile into the phone interview pile. I will highlight here that an average recruiter spends about 7 seconds looking over your resume before they decide on whether to have a phone interview with you or not. So your job is to optimize for that first 7 seconds of looking at your resume. So let's assume you've made it. You're now part of the phone screen pile. Congratulations! What will happen next is the recruiter will reach out to you asking to schedule a 15 to 30-minute phone call with you. They will ask a little bit more information about your background as well as some of your expectations for the role and what you're looking for. They will be assessing the role fit at this stage. Typically, when this interview is being set, you will receive an email from the recruiter asking you to provide a number of availabilities for you guys to have a call together. That is why it's very important to make sure that your contact information, such as your email and your phone number, are very clearly found on your CV. During the interview, you will speak with a recruiter or the HR manager or sometimes even the hiring manager, depending on the size of the company and the industry you're in. This conversation will focus on your overall experience and how it relates to the role you're applying for. So earlier in this video, I told you that there are essentially 3 top questions that you need to be prepared to answer for. So here are those questions. What are you looking for in the next role? Are you qualified for that role? And whether what you're looking for in the next role is aligned with what the company is actually able to provide to you. So next, let's talk about how you can prepare to answer those questions so that you can charm the recruiter and get to the next stage of your interview. Before you jump on your phone interview, make sure that you do some research on the company that you're applying for. Check their website, check their LinkedIn profile, look up their leadership team and your potential hiring manager just to learn a little bit more about what their background is and what the company does. Just doing that can help you get a better understanding on what the company would be looking for. And generally, it will help you better prepared for the interview. Now it's time to have that phone call. First things first, the recruiter will ask you a simple question of, what's your background? Or tell me a little bit about yourself. What the recruiter is looking for in this question is to learn more about your experience and to get an understanding of how you got where you are today. To answer this question, be prepared to give a 3 to 5 minute overview of your background and experience. Tell a little bit about your current or your previous position, as well as share the story of how you got there. Make sure you highlight the parts of your career that you're most proud of and explain why. Also, try to keep your background and experience relevant for the role you're applying for. Don't forget to stress your upwards career trajectory, showing how you've gotten more responsibilities over time, and make sure to highlight your achievements. I would recommend to practice your story in front of the mirror before you jump on your phone interview. That way you will know exactly what to say, and you'll also sound confident and energetic when you're sharing your story with the interviewer. Your energy and tone of voice are really important here, because in the end of the day, all the recruiter has about you is a piece of paper that is your resume on their monitor, as well as your voice on the other side of the phone line. So your goal here is to make sure you make the most amazing first impression. What the recruiter is looking for at this stage is cross-checking whether your background is really what you're saying it is on your resume. And they're also diving a little bit deeper to assess whether your experience is a good fit for the role. Now, the next question that you want to be prepared to answer is, why are you looking for a job? Is it a salary raise? Is it more responsibilities? Is it a bigger and better career growth? Or it could be that you've just moved to a new city or maybe to a new country and you're just looking for the first job there. All of those are perfectly valid reasons to look for a job. If there are some negative reasons why you're looking for a job, for instance, you have a conflict with your team or your manager, don't ever share this detail with the recruitment manager. It will not create a great impression, and it will leave the recruiter wondering whether you'll have the same type of conflicts and issues with their company and their team. And besides, people are social creatures, so we're naturally drawn to people that we have positive associations with. So always make sure that you speak positively of your past experiences, past teams, and past bosses. If you're looking for a job because you were laid off, or you took a sabbatical or a medical leave, or maybe for all my rock star ladies there, you went on a maternal leave, all those are perfectly valid reasons to be looking for a new job. Do not feel ashamed or shy to share that with your recruiter. What the recruiter is looking for at this stage by asking the question of why you're looking for this role is to understand your motivations for looking for a job and to understand whether the company can support those motivations. So let's talk a little bit about some tips on how to answer the question of why you're looking for a job. It is important to articulate what is it that you're looking to do in a new job that you weren't able to do in your old job. Be energetic and confident when you're talking. Even though the recruiter cannot see you, they can subconsciously understand your emotions through the tone of your voice. Here's an example. Hi, my name is Anastasia. I'm looking to develop my leadership skills while getting experience in a new industry. I would really like to work for that company. Or here's another version. Hi, my name is Anastasia, and I'm looking to develop my leadership skills while getting experience in a new industry, and I'm very much excited about this opportunity. So, which version did you like most? The first or the second one? Well, if you ask me, I would prefer the second one because I could hear that the voice of the second person sounded a lot more upbeat and energetic. And that's what people are naturally drawn to. Overall, try to be precise and concise. Try to avoid one-word answers though, because that can be perceived as lack of interest. On the flip side, try to avoid long-winded answers because that will make it difficult for the recruiter to retain and understand that information, or they might even lose attention as a whole. Ask yourself, what point are you trying to make, and whether the listener actually understands which point you're trying to make. After you've done your part on answering all the questions, I would strongly encourage you to ask your own questions to the recruiter. Not only will it help you to get a better understanding of whether you want to be working in that company, but it will also demonstrate to the recruiter that you've done your research, you've done your homework, and you're genuinely interested in this opportunity. A phone screening is just like any kind of interview. It's a two-way conversation. It's not just about the employer seeing whether you're a good fit for the company, but it's also about you making sure that the company can offer what you're looking for. So think about, what is it that matters to you in your new job? Is it your benefits and compensation? Is it your vacation time, your role and responsibilities? Is it the working hours? Is it just the team and the leadership? If all goes well, oftentimes the recruiter will tell you right away whether or not they want to move you along to the next step of the process. And they'll let you know that you should expect an email in a couple of days with the invitation for the next interview. If that doesn't happen, it's another opportunity for you to ask a question. Ask them, what's the recruitment process like? What are the steps? And what are their timelines so that you know what to expect? If the recruiter doesn't get back to you in a couple of days, don't feel shy to follow up with them. It's happened time and time again that the recruiter simply gets busy and just forgets to get back to you, especially if the company is large and they have a lot of people to hire for. So do not interpret the silence as a lack of interest. Just follow up. And while you wait for that callback or your next interview, please share how your most recent phone interview went for you. Leave a comment below to share that experience with your community, and please gently tap that like button to help more people see this video. In our next video, we will discuss the next stage of the interview, which is the on-site or the in-depth interview. So stay tuned and see you next time. Bye!